There's a video clip of Bear Bachmeier that is making the rounds on social media, going viral, and we got to talk about it. Robbie Huckvale is the account that I saw this from, at Robbie_Huckvale. So shout out to Robbie. However, this is the quote. I'm not going to play the audio because it's a little bit muffled. Just going to read you Bear Bachmeier's quote. He was being asked after BYU's win at Colorado about why aren't you sliding? Like this is just a dude. We know he's like built like a linebacker, built like a centaur is what they said, and he seeks out contact. He does not play the quarterback position like a normal quarterback would. That's both good and fun and also kind of dangerous. Like at a certain point, just protect yourself. It's not smart to like go seek out contact as a quarterback. God forbid you get injured. Nobody wants that to happen. But so they asked him about this after the game because Bear was just trying to truck stick everybody that he could. And in this video clip, he gets emotional. Like he's basically on the verge of tears just after being asked, like, hey, why don't you slide? And this is what Bear says. He says, quote, sorry, I'm getting a little choked up, but that's just how I was raised. My dad, my mom, my older siblings, my younger brother, you got to have that mentality. You got to go get that first down. You got to do whatever you got to do to win. He goes on to talk about like it wasn't just me centric, it was BYU centric and what that win meant for their team. But basically, like it's how I was raised to not take the easy way out. And I'm getting emotional talking about that right now after we just won a conference game on the road to go to 4-0. It's pretty unique. Unique to say the least. Everything about Bear Bachmeier is unique. His name is Bear. He wears 47. He's crying in post-game videos after wins. When asked why he doesn't slide, this is a one-of-one human being, it appears, and BYU fans are loving every single second of it. But what's your interpretation of this emotional Bear Bachmeier moment?
I really like Bear Bachmeier. I'm not sure how good he is, to be to be completely honest, but if I was a BYU fan, and we love BYU on this channel, we love BYU. I would want Bear Bachmeier to be my quarterback, regardless of like what happens. Like, I love Ryder Lyons. If Ryder was at BYU right now, I think I'd want Bear Bachmeier as my quarterback if I'm a BYU fan because he makes you want to run through a brick wall. Like everything he says, everything he does. I love it. I mean, how many quarterbacks do we say, damn, why did he slide there? If he wasn't afraid to take a little contact, he would have got a first down. Obviously, we don't want Bear to get hurt, don't want anything to happen to him, but I love the mentality, especially for a guy that I think lacks a lot of arm talent. You have to be able to do those things. You have to be able to put yourself in harm's way a little bit. He's willing to do it. He plays a physical brand of football. That's what BYU wants to do. They fall in line with him. The best thing that ever happened to him was the Retzlaff stuff because I think this team's better off with Bear Bachmeier than Jake Retzlaff at the moment.
Hey, we killed people for saying that. Like 2 weeks ago, I came on. I'll just speak for me, I guess. I don't want to say we because I don't think you were on that video. It might have been Cart, but I came on here because there was a BYU account or an interview. I forget who it was with somebody around the program that basically was like, "Oh, it's a huge upgrade. This is better for us than Jake Retzlaff." And I killed that. I was like, "You don't need to say this. Number one, even if it's real, it just puts more pressure on Bear." And it's not fair to Jake. It's not fair to Jake, who was a great quarterback, who was doing great things for Tulane at that point in the season. So, look, do I still like do my whole lie detector test thing? Strap me up, put me here, and ask me the question: who's a better quarterback? Do I think Bear's better than Jake? No, I don't. Honestly, I don't. I think they're both really good. They're different. I think Jake's just a better quarterback as a fifth year senior than a freshman Bear Bachmeier is. I don't think we have to play the comparison game for these two at all times. And there's not much either could do that would make me change that opinion this year, to be honest. However, I don't think it's a crazy gap like I once thought. And second, much more importantly, I don't think Bear Bachmeier needs to be a quote unquote better quarterback than anyone to be what BYU wants at quarterback or to be what BYU needs at quarterback. And one thing is unmistakably true at this point. This team has rallied around this kid. This community has rallied around this kid. Now, again, we shouldn't be surprised because the BYU community may be the strongest community I've ever encountered in sports. Like their ability to rally around someone good and a good story and make them feel loved is more powerful than anyone I've ever seen. And by the way, they did that with Retzlaff. That's why BYU became a thing that the whole world knew about. So, like the fact that this is off to such a good start, incredibly cool. Bear deserves all the credit. Um, I hesitate to go where I'm about to go, but I'm going to go there. I think there's a Bear Bachmeier comparison right now. And I think it's the best college quarterback that I've seen in my life.
Tebow?
Is this not Tim Tebow? Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girls' sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife. Love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more.
It is.
Was like it's the same. It's the same shit. Like there's a spiritual thing going on here with this guy that very clearly does not have the best arm,
Yeah.
but plays quarterback like he's a fullback and will run through your nose and then will take the huddle over and just with his own who he is as a person compel everybody else to be better. And somehow you add that all up and you get this winning monster that never should be a Heisman Trophy candidate, but is because of what he means to everybody. And look, I don't know that it's going to go the same way. I don't. I don't know that he's ever going to lead his team to a college football playoff. He could do that this year. He could do it never. I don't know what's going to happen when Ryder Lyons gets there. But I know this. I no longer have the same opinion I did 2 weeks ago where I was like, he better enjoy his 2 years. He's taken it. He's taken this program. You're not just going to throw this aside when you have this very special person at the center of this. It's very clear. You watch this video, like let's just call it, he shouldn't get emotional. Like someone asks you, why are you sliding? You shouldn't get emotional. But like, just like Tebow, he has this almost like higher level of interpretation of life that, oh, why am I not sliding? Because my parents raised me that way. Like, and it's genuine too. That's the thing. It's not a shtick. Like it gets me fired up watching it, and I think that's how BYU players and fans are feeling too.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It very is Tebow has like similar games too. I can't believe I'm saying that because Tebow's like greatest college quarterback of our generation, first round pick. I'm not sure that Bear Bachmeier is either of those things, but I see like game wise, I see the vision, and then personality wise, it's spot on. It's a great comparison, and honestly, I don't want to start any rumors, but like that Ryder situation could get interesting. You know, if he like because Ryder Lyons is like adamant NFL, right? Like his Pat McAfee interview, like he's adamant, like I'm there to get to the NFL, like that's my goal. And BYU, I'm gonna be a part of it, and I'm locked in. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying Bear Bachmeier threatens his ability to get to the NFL, but if you uh, go on a mission, which I know BYU fans say I say that incorrectly, I'm sorry, but you go on a mission for a year, then you sit behind Bear Bachmeier for a year. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure on 1 year of playing to get you to the next level, right? Like I don't know. It could get interesting. I don't think it will. I think Bear Bachmeier and Ryder Lyons, I think will get along great from like what I don't see Bear Bachmeier not being friends with people. For what it's
Yeah.
worth, I think he'd be a phenomenal guy to have in the locker room with a Ryder Lyons. So I don't think it's a big deal, but like in the NIL transfer portal era, like it is something to like keep an eye on because I do think Bear Bachmeier is way better than any of us ever could have imagined. At first, it's just like Hey, you're here, do your thing until Ryder Lyons gets there. Now it just feels a little bit more sticky, a little bit more interesting, and that's a credit to Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah, agreed. He's obviously way better than any of us thought even a week ago. It's fun. It's fun to watch. He's so dynamic and just exciting to watch play football at this point. You just got to sit back and appreciate it. Yeah, I think your point on like let's envision what happens when Ryder gets there. I would just say it as this. I think of all incumbent starting quarterbacks you could possibly have on earth, Bear is probably the number one guy that people would be willing to be behind because of what, number one, who he is as a person, but number two, he is versatile enough that like if BYU wanted to, they could do two quarterback packages. You could have Ryder Lyons play every single game and move Bear to a different position and still have him on the field and then still let Bear get the important drives of the game. I would not be surprised if that happens. I do think that's something you could convince him to sign up for as long as it's only 1 year. Now that would probably mean Bear's got to get out of here by year three instead of year four. But if his trajectory continues, that is certainly within the realm of possibility. And at minimum, if you're worried about it, it's so far down the line. Let's not worry about it. We got a 4-0 football team with a quarterback who's crying in the post game. Let's focus on that first. But I think BYU donors would take care of any issues there too, if needed.
That's a great point. That's a great point. For what it's worth, I don't see Ryder leaving BYU. My comments were more so like it would be sad if Bear had to leave too.
I'm convinced that Bear would punt for this team before leaving the program.
He'd be a really good tight end. Like when you said different position, my mind immediately went, imagine Ryder Lyons throwing darts to Bear Bachmeier as a tight end.
So I keep going with the Tebow comp. Am I allowed, since that's my comp, am I allowed to call him T Bear?
I like that.
I like T Bear. I think I'm gonna go. It's kind of like the Barstool guy, T Bob. I don't get why there's a T there. He's T Bear for me from now on.
Where did Taysom Hill go to school?
BYU. In fact, there was some jokes because Bear wears 47. Taysom Hill wore two numbers at BYU in his tenure, 4 and 7.
I don't know if Taysom Hill's still in the NFL because I'm anti Taysom Hill. I want to get that very clear. Uh, Fantasy football 2021, he was listed as a tight end but played quarterback. I lost because the guy was allowed to have a quarterback at tight end. So I've been anti Taysom Hill ever since then. But the Tebow comp is amazing. The Taysom Hill one is up there too. There's a lot of Taysom Hill to Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah, true. Which is fun. What a time to be a BYU fan. He's also been watching a lot of Friday Night Lights, clearly, because crying in the postgame when asked why you don't slide is straight out of the Matt Saracen playbook.